Imagine this. You're driving home after a long day, minding your business, when flashing red and blue lights suddenly appear in your rearview mirror. Your heart races, you pull over, roll down your window, and before you can even ask what's wrong, the officer's voice is already laced with hostility. No explanation, no courtesy, just an attitude that says he's already made up his mind about you. That's exactly what happens when Officer Daniels pulls over a black man on an empty road late at night. From the moment he steps out of his squad car, he's aggressive, demanding ID, barking orders, acting like he's already decided this man is guilty of something. He doesn't know what. He doesn't care. To him, it doesn't matter. But what does matter, what Daniels has no idea about, is who exactly he just pulled over. Because the man sitting in that driver's seat isn't just anyone. He's someone with power. Someone who spent years cleaning up corruption, holding bad cops accountable, and making sure officers like Daniels don't get away with abuse of authority. He's the head of internal affairs. And right now, he's watching, listening, taking note of every single mistake Officer Daniels is making. But the question is, when the truth finally comes out, will justice be served? Or will the system find a way to protect its own? Stay tuned. Officer Daniels stands tall, hand resting on his holster as he glares down at the man in the driver's seat. His tone is sharp, almost daring him to challenge his authority. License and registration. Now. The man stays calm, his expression unreadable. He reaches into his glove compartment, moving slowly, deliberately, as if he's done this before. He hands over his ID, watching as Daniels snatches it without a second glance. Daniels barely looks at the name before he turns back to the driver. "Where you headed?" His voice drips with suspicion, like he's searching for a reason, any reason, to escalate the situation. "Home," the man replies evenly. Daniels lets out a short, mocking laugh. Been drinking tonight?" "No." "Got any weapons in the car?" The man tilts his head slightly. "Should I?" Daniels narrows his eyes. Something about this guy is off. He's too calm, too composed. Most people get nervous when they're stopped, even if they've done nothing wrong. But not this one. No fear, no panic. Daniels steps back, glancing down at the ID in his hand. Finally, he really looks at the name. And that's when his stomach drops. His grip tightens, his pulse quickens. Because now he knows exactly who he's dealing with, and he just made a huge mistake. Daniels swallows hard, his fingers tightening around the ID as his mind races. Kelliot Carter ***. The name stares back at him, bold and unmistakable. Head of Internal Affairs. The man responsible for investigating officers like him. The man who could end his career with a single report. But Daniels can't back down now. Not after the way he's handled this stop. If he suddenly switches his tone, Carter will know exactly why. He needs to stay in control, needs to find a way to turn this situation around. He clears his throat, forcing a smirk. Well, looks like we got ourselves an important man here, he says, trying to sound casual. Didn't realize I was pulling over a big shot. Carter doesn't react. He just watches, studying every movement, every hesitation. Daniels knows he's being assessed, and that only makes him more defensive. "You in a hurry tonight?" Daniels asks, still holding onto the ID like it gives him some kind of leverage. "No more than usual." Daniels forces a chuckle, but it comes out tight. He glances over his shoulder, suddenly aware of how empty the road is. No backup, no cameras, just him and Carter. For the first time, he's ***, the one who feels exposed, vulnerable. Carter shifts slightly in his seat. "Is there a reason you pulled me over, officer?" Daniels hesitates. He knows he should just let him go. Apologize. Walk away. But something in him won't allow it. If he admits he was wrong now, he's admitting more than just a bad stop. He's admitting the way he policies, his entire mindset, is flawed. And that's a truth he's not ready to face. So instead, he doubles down. "Step out of the vehicle," he orders, his voice a little too sharp. Carter exhales slowly, as if he was expecting this. He unbuckles his seatbelt and opens the door, moving with a patience that only makes Daniels more uneasy. As Carter stands, the height difference becomes clear. Daniels is taller, but somehow Carter still feels like the one in control. He straightens his jacket, glancing at the name tag on Daniels' uniform. "So, Officer Daniels," Carter says, voice steady, "tell me, what's your probable cause?" Daniels doesn't answer right away, because the truth is he doesn't have one. Not a real one, anyway. And now, standing face to face with the man who could unravel everything, he realizes this night is far from over. Daniels feels a prickle of sweat at the back of his neck. Carter's question hangs in the air, heavy, undeniable. Probable cause. The one thing he doesn't have. He clears his throat, grasping for control. "You were driving erratically," he lies. "Looked like you might be under the influence." Carter just raises an eyebrow, unimpressed. Driving erratically, on an empty road, at a steady speed. Daniels shifts uncomfortably. "I'll be the one asking questions." Carter tilts his head slightly, studying him like a puzzle he's already figured out. "So, you didn't run my plates before pulling me over, did you?" he asks. "Didn't know who I was. You just saw me, made a decision, and now you're stuck trying to justify it." Daniel's jaw tightens. His hand twitches toward his radio, but he doesn't press the button. Calling for backup would only draw more attention to this stop, and the last thing he needs is other officers witnessing him struggle to maintain control. Carter exhales, shaking his head. "You know, I've spent years reviewing cases just like this. Officers making stops based on instinct, not the law. You think this is just another routine night, another driver who has no choice but to comply. But that's not how this is going to go." Daniels steps closer, his voice lowering. "You think you're untouchable," he mutters. Carter doesn't flinch. "No," he says, voice steady. "I think you are." Daniels blinks, caught off guard. Carter continues, his tone even but firm. "Because no matter how this plays out, you'll be the one who gets protected, not me. The system's built that way. You and I both know it." Daniels swallows hard, the weight of those words pressing down on him. He wants to deny it, to say that's not how things work. But deep down, he knows better. For the first time, uncertainty flickers across his face. His grip on the situation is slipping, and Carter can see it. Then, in the distance, headlights appear, a car approaching. Someone else is coming. The moment of truth is near. Daniel's breath quickens. He has to decide. Does he let Carter go and walk away from this? Or does he push forward, risking everything? The tension tightens like a noose. Carter watches him closely, waiting. The next move will change everything. The approaching car slows as it nears them, its headlights cutting through the darkness. Daniel's pulse pounds in his ears. If this driver stops, if they witness anything, the situation becomes even more complicated. He doesn't know who's behind the wheel, a random passerby or someone who could escalate this further. Carter glances toward the vehicle but remains still. He's not in a rush. He knows the weight of the moment is pressing harder on Daniels than on him. The officer's mind is spinning, searching for the right move, but every option feels like a trap. Then, to Daniel's relief, the car doesn't stop. It keeps rolling past, disappearing into the night. But the interruption was just enough to shake his confidence. Carter exhales, shifting his stance. "You have a decision to make, officer," he says, voice steady. "How this ends is up to you." Daniel's fingers twitch near his belt, but not toward his weapon, toward his body camera. He suddenly remembers it's off. He never turned it on. A sinking feeling creeps into his chest. If Carter brings this stop up later, there'll be no footage to back up his side of the story. No proof of anything. And that asterisk is when it hits him. Carter knew. From the moment he was pulled over, he knew. He must have noticed the camera was off. He must have realized Daniels wasn't following protocol, and instead of reacting, he let Daniels walk himself deeper into a hole. A cold sweat breaks out on Daniels' forehead. If Carter reports this, Internal Affairs won't just investigate the stop, they'll pull his entire record. Every questionable stop, every report he's filed, every complaint that's been buried. His career isn't just at risk. His entire reputation, his whole identity, is hanging by a thread. Carter steps forward, just enough to force Daniels to look him in the eye. "So," he says quietly, "what's it going to be?" Daniels' mouth goes dry. His hands clench at his sides. He started this stop thinking he was in control. But now, for the first time in his career, he feels completely powerless, and he has no idea what to do next. Daniels' breath is shallow. His mind is at war with itself. If he lets Carter go, he's admitting fault. But if he pushes further, if he tries to justify this stop, he risks digging himself even deeper. Carter watches him closely, waiting, not with anger, not with fear, just certainty, but he already knows how this is going to end. Daniels swallows hard and forces his voice steady. "You're free to go." The words feel foreign coming out of his mouth. He steps back, handing over Carter's ID, his fingers stiff. Carter takes it without breaking eye contact. That the right call or just the safe one? Daniels doesn't answer. He's not sure he can answer. The weight of everything crashes down on him. The realization of how close he came to making a career-ending mistake. Carter exhales, his tone softer now. "You've got a choice, Daniels. Keep doing what you've been doing, or start seeing things for what they are." He opens his car door, pausing for just a moment. "Either way, I'll be watching." Daniels' stomach tightens. He thought this would be over once Carter drove away. But now, it feels like it's just beginning. Then, just as Carter pulls off, Daniels' radio crackles to life. A voice comes through, his captain's. "Daniels, report to the station immediately." His blood runs cold. Carter never raised his voice, never made a call, but somehow, someone already knows Daniels grips his radio, his hands clammy. His heart pounds as he takes one last look at Carter's car disappearing into the distance. Did he make the call, or was someone else already watching? Either way, Daniels knows there's no escaping this now. The drive back to the station feels longer than usual. His thoughts race. Will this be a slap on the wrist, or is his career on the line? He replays every second of the stop in his head, each mistake standing out like a flashing red light. He wanted control, but all he did was expose himself. When he steps inside, the air feels heavier. Officers glance at him, some with curiosity, others with knowing looks. It's subtle, but it's enough to confirm his worst fear. They already know Captain Reynolds is waiting in his office, arms crossed. "Close the door," he says, his voice unreadable. Daniels obeys, his throat dry. The captain studies him for a long moment before speaking. "Do you know who you pulled over tonight?" Daniels nods, his stomach tight. Reynolds leans forward. "Then you know this isn't going away." Daniels doesn't argue. He just nods again. Because for the first time, he understands, this isn't about one stop. This is about everything. And as he sits there, waiting for the fallout, he wonders if this is his reckoning, or his chance to change.